Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Jango Castro. Up to 7 witnesses in the Degamo murder case are supposedly eyeing to recant their statements. Justice Secretary Boying Rimulya did not name these witnesses, but he says around 6 to 7 have suddenly refused to cooperate in the investigation into the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. Rimulya raises suspicion over the move as the witnesses have suddenly been provided with new private lawyers.
Some of them have refused to speak already, and they have not issued another statement. And we suspect that they will be changing their statements later on. They were provided with lawyers by some people who are paying for their lawyers who were not there before. And obviously, there's some people are interested in the statements that they want to give, and now they don't want to cooperate anymore with the authorities.
Despite this, Rimulya remains confident that their case against alleged mastermind and suspended Congressman Arnie Teves remains strong, as many of the earlier witnesses are still standing by their statements. Rimulya adds that they still have strong evidence that could prove Teves' involvement in the killing. The Justice Department is eyeing to file 10 murder charges and multiple attempted murder charges against Teves on Wednesday.
There are no recantations yet, but we expect that to happen. It's a tactic that is employed by people who want to destroy their previous statements. The good thing here is that they've already said everything prior to lawyering up. So it's a good thing that we already have their statements clearly said before, prior to everything else.
The OPAC, or the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Creative Communications, denies that the viral bus ad in London was part of a tourism campaign. In a statement, OPAC says the slogan was only meant to promote Filipino achievers abroad. Creative Communications Secretary Paul Soriano says this branding aims to honor and uplift the spirit of Filipinos working in different fields in other countries. The campaign, with the slogan "We give the world our best, the Philippines," drew negative reactions online, with many saying that it appeared to commodify Filipinos. Some pointed out that it appeared to encourage Filipino nurses to work abroad, despite the Philippines also experiencing a shortage of health workers. The ad features a Philbrit nurse, May Parsons, the first nurse to give the COVID-19 vaccine, holding a syringe. Soriano says the message of the ad may have been misconstrued. The Tourism Department says that although they support the OPAC's ad, it's not part of the Philippines tourism campaign. On One News, the chiefs, an advertising expert, also share their thoughts on the controversial ad.
I'm not offended, but I don't think it's a well written. It's not a well conceived message. I'm looking at it from an advertising communications point of view.
Yes.
Sa akin kasi ang effective communication, since transit pa siya, isang tinginan lang. Dapat sa unang tingin, kuha mo kagad kung ano binibenta. Dito, I'm not sure kung ano binibenta niya. Binibenta ba niya?
Yung
It's
syringe.
not clear.
The Treasury Department says next year's budget will not be enough to fund the retirement benefits for military and uniformed personnel. In a Senate hearing on Monday, economic managers continued their push for reforms on the pension system for MUPs. Economic managers are calling for mandatory contributions among uniformed personnel. They are proposing a 5% contribution from personnel's base pay, which will hike to 7 and 9% every 3 years. Currently, the retirement benefit is taken out of the national budget. Economic managers also want the minimum pensionable age for MUPs to be set at 57 years old. As under the current system, soldiers are allowed to retire after 20 years in service. And once they retire, economic managers propose that MUPs should not be given a higher rank, something that is being done today. The Defense Department, though, is opposing the move, noting that it will affect the morale of uniformed personnel. They say many active members are now looking to retire ahead of the implementation of these proposed reforms.
At present, mere discussions of proposals relating to retirement benefits, most especially the imposition of the pensionable age, has already affected the morale and caused uneasiness, not only from within the active ranks of the armed forces, but even from our veterans and retirees.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Heads up, motorists. Filling up your tanks may feel a little heavier on the wallet as oil companies implement price hikes on fuel. Effective today, May 16, diesel will be pricier by 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter. Gasoline, on the other hand, will see an increase of 35 centavos per liter, while kerosene is up by 1 peso and 40 centavos per liter. The oil price hike puts an end to 3 consecutive weeks of rollbacks for diesel. The Energy Department earlier said that it had expected fuel prices to go up due to the ongoing banking crisis in the U.S. The government is now eyeing the implementation of a suggested retail price for onions as prices of the commodity rise due to suspected hoarding. More details in this report by Shaila Francisco.
Napakamahal na sibuyas. 96 pesos na to, samantalang dati puro ito o 80 lang.
This was Eva's complaint after buying onions at a Kadiwa store in Quezon City. Eva is from Montalban, Rizal, but she does not mind the commute to buy here as prices in wet markets are much higher. A kilo of red or white onion now costs up to 200 pesos per kilo, more than triple the price back in May last year. For 2022 prices, you can still buy onions but only in Kadiwa centers and in much smaller sizes. The Agriculture Department explains prices are much higher now due to higher farm inputs. But prices should not exceed 150 to 160 pesos a kilo as farm gate price stands at only 120 pesos. The DA is looking into the possibility of hoarding as the culprit for high prices.
Dahil alam po natin na nakapag-harvest na ang ating mga magsasaka, alam din po natin na karamihan sa kanila ay nabenta na ang kanilang sibuyas sa mga traders. Tinitingnan na natin, after mabenta ng ating magsasaka, sinong bumili at gaano katagal, paano po binenta ng trader.
Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG meanwhile says the DA should not wait for prices to exceed 200 pesos per kilo.
Pag lumagpas pa yan sa 200, hindi na farmer definitely ang kumikita, kundi yung ibang nasa value chain ng onion industry.
SINAG is now pushing to import 7,500 metric tons of onion, but only white varieties due to limited supply.
As per our report sa ground, July, August, mauubos na yung white onion. We don't see na may kulang sa red. Kahit last year naman merong assumption na kulang kasi nga ginamit yung red ng mga end users, yung mga restaurants, sinubstitute sa white. Mas yung white ang ating binabantayan than red.
The DA will meet stakeholders to discuss issues hounding the industry, including the possible importation and the imposition of suggested retail price. Shaila Francisco, WR1 News.
Gilas Pilipinas successfully advances to the gold match against Cambodia after grinding out against Indonesia 84-76 in last night's game. Justin Brownlee pumped in 34 points to power Gilas, forging a final showdown, a loaded rematch with host Cambodia. Gilas will try to complete the redemption bid in a match against the Cambodian team, reinforced by a handful of naturalized Americans in the finals today, May 16. For Gilas Pilipinas women, they ended their SEA Games campaign on a strong note as they rammed past Malaysia to secure the silver medal. Janine Pontejos led the way with 24 points, while Kate Castillo added 18 more in the effort. The Filipino hoopers will now turn their sights on the FIBA Women's Asia Cup that will be held in Australia next month. The Philippines also picked up more gold medals in Arnis, with Dexler Molambao and Maria Ella Alcoseba each completing a sweep in their respective divisions. Meanwhile, playing coach Maria Cristina Vergara comes out of retirement to bag another gold in the country in the 65-kilogram division of women's freestyle wrestling. As of the latest tally, the Philippines maintains its place in the 5th spot with 51 gold medals, 77 silvers, and 103 bronze. Vietnam still leads the games with 123 gold, 100 silver medals, and 98 bronze finishes. Vietnam is followed by Thailand, Indonesia, with host Cambodia pulling just ahead of the Philippines. And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 7:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.